Salutations! Welcome to another exciting episode of Articulation Radio. I am your hostess, the eternally grateful Goddess Sage. Although we normally kick off each episode of Articulation Radio by taking a glance at the news headlines, on today, we are going to leave that up to you. So head on over to elitevaluesnews.com right now and see what headlines you see. And as you know, news constantly changes because things are always happening. And so the headlines at Elite Values News always change constantly. So feel free to check it out hour on the hour.
Looking to get the latest news? Visit Elite Values. EliteValuesNews.com has all the latest news and information. Check out the headlines daily. EliteValuesNews.com for all of your latest news.
Do you want to be published? Are you looking for a high-quality, low-cost way to be published with a fast turnaround? Visit bepublished.org to publish today. www.bepublished.org. bepublished.org. Publish today. Books, movies, and music.
Listeners, we love you, we hear you, and I am definitely glad to be here with you today on another exciting and informative episode of Articulation Radio. This particular episode is very rare. It is one of our talk-only episodes. So no, baby, you won't hear any music on this episode, but what you will hear is a bunch of great information that is guaranteed to be life-changing for you if you immediately apply it. So stay tuned for this interview.
You have a product? Let them help you increase sales. You have a video? Let them help you make it go viral. Peoplewarmers.com. PeopleWarmers.com for all your advertising, marketing, and promotional needs. They also take care of events planning. Peoplewarmers.com. Visit them today.
Have you always wanted to start a business but can't seem to get it off the ground? Call 972-880-8316 for your free initial consultation with a representative from The Conglomerate, or visit theconglomerate.work today to book your consultation in person. Theconglomerate.work, TheConglomerate.work, theconglomerate.work. Call 972-880-8316 to start your new business today.
Articulation Radio is honored to have on the line with us today the illustrious business and finance guru, Mr. Solomon Ali. And some of you may know him as by Richard Carter, Mr. Richard Marshall Carter, but many of you know him by the phenomenal Mr. Solomon Ali. Mr. Ali, do I have you here on this line?
You have me on the line. Thank you so much for having me.
It is our pleasure, our honor indeed. Now, fill me in a little bit. And for those, let's start for those people who are just tuning in. You're listening to Articulation Radio. My name is Goddess Sage, and we are about to dive in because you called and you tuned in right on time. We are about to dive into this call where Mr. Solomon Ali and I are about to make sure you have all the great info that you need to help you move forward. And he's also going to go ahead and just give you a little bit of info about other things he has going on as well. Now, Mr. Ali, my very first question to you is, what is there that is the foremost thing on your mind right now, the thing that you want to be sure if people don't have a lot of time, or if people, are just tuning in and know that they, can't listen to the whole, and what is the thing that you want to be sure that they understand that you have to offer to them and that they can expect when they go to your website, solomonrcali.info?
Wow. That's a lot. Well, what I would say is they have a wealth of information that they can get and receive that will help them as the economy changes. As everyone know, based on what's happening in the economy today, in our world today, with COVID-19, our economy is going to look totally different. So they will be able to go there and get some tips to help them to survive a bad economy or a change in economy.
And I see why you say that's a lot, because that is a lot. And it's good to know that, because especially when, we really look at it, that's a major change. And it's something that's going to affect a lot of different sectors of society. And so, and especially for those of you who are interested in starting a business, or even, as we know, all people are interested in making sure that they have their finances in place and that they are able to not only weather the storms for themselves, but also for their loved ones. So my next question to you is, what is there? Because, of course, we see a lot of people are stressed out. They're struggling. They're like, look, I can't go to work. And some of them want to start a business, but they're like, hey, I haven't even gotten a check. And then when you tell them, okay, well, you can raise the funds, and they're like, okay, the people I know are broke too. So what advice would you give to those people to kind of help them get those startup funds so that they can start their business, so that they can improve their finances?
Well, the first thing I would say is definitely go to my website. But if I, as an African-American man... And
that website, again, people, is SolomonRCAli.info. So, yes, sir, go ahead.
Yeah. So, me as an African-American man started with nothing and had to learn the hard way through the hard knocks. I try to take that out of the equation for other people who look like me, who have to start where I started from, so that you can actually navigate these waters and understand what it is that lenders, VCs, private equity companies are actually looking for. And once you start your business, some of the common mistakes that are really made, especially when you start undercapitalized, that you may not realize. And so I tried to get you through those different things. Those are things that will keep you in business, such as risk management, knowing that you should have a certain amount of suppliers and vendors, knowing on the customer side that you should have more than one customer. If you say you have one customer and you think you're in business, well, you're not. If that one customer makes up 100% of your business, you're not in business. You need to have at least 10 customers, so that if you lost one, it only represents 10% of your business. Okay, and the same with the suppliers and vendors.
Yes. And what about for those who, let's say there's someone who's like, okay, well, my company isn't one where it's that type of company. I want to do something simple. I love growing chrysanthemums. I love growing chrysanthemums, and I want to start a flower shop, or I'm a small little. I have a small garden, and I want to start selling my stuff from there. What tips do you have for the farmers and florists, or other people who have goods that they would like to offer?
Well, again, here's the thing: every business have vendors of some kind. You have to buy your seed somewhere. You have to buy your pots somewhere. So every business, the things that I'm talking about, every business needs. They have to utilize it. The most important thing is before you actually start, if you haven't started your business, before you start, we need to put a capital structure in place for you. You need to put a capital structure in place and be able to access more money, so that you don't run out of money when you get started. A lot of people like to run into business and buy their business cards, buy their inventory and things of that nature because they got a few customers and think everything's going to be hunky-dory. And then they get a few more customers, and then they can't service those customers because they don't have enough money or a line of credit and things like that. So we tackle those problems head on right up front, because these are the things that you don't know. These are the things that even if you went to business school, you don't know. You think you have an idea, and if that was the case, everyone who graduated from business school would be millionaires too, right?
Right.
So, I took a dig, but I didn't mean to take a dig. But
no, but that's reality,
right.
And Yeah, sometimes, we have to dig up a bit of dirt in order to find that treasure that's hidden.
Absolutely. And so that's what I would start them with, and that's what they learn from me or someone like me, because I don't want no one else to go through the pain that I've gone through in business.
Yes, sir.
I've had more businesses fail than I've had success. Now,
Yes.
I'm one of the few African-American people, if not the only, that have sat on 3 publicly traded companies, board of directors, as an officer of the company, and has raised capital for the company all at the same time. And the unique thing about that is there's only 13,000 publicly traded companies, but there's only 13 African-American companies that are controlled, that are public. And the 2 that I helped, out of the 3, the 2 that I helped, one was the 5th largest energy company in the United States. So that says a lot.
Yes.
Minority energy company in the United States. Okay, let me correct that.
And you just heard him mention that energy company. There is even a technology company that he assisted. As a matter of fact, while he was assisting this technology company in its developmental phase, he used his business acumen to bring that company to a position of industry dominance through managing their intellectual property assets and licensing. So this gentleman knows what he's talking about. And so what tips would you say for people who are interested in securing intellectual property? I won't even say what tips, because there's so much. People, if you're interested in finding the best way to secure intellectual property, or, if you would love to have the opportunity to get with someone who is truly someone who's devoted to building up the disadvantaged and the minority entrepreneurs, this is someone who for close to 30 years, this is what he does all day, every day, and he has a mantra that he lives by where, he always tries to leave things better than the way he found it. And because of his penchant for his hard work and his dedication to his philosophy, you can best believe that anything that you need, any advice that you need from him, whether it's on the finance side, whether it's business side, you are going to get genuine, good advice that you can use right now. But the thing of it is, people, you can't be a forgetful listener now. You got to apply the advice that he gives you. I mean, don't waste his time. Don't waste your time. And if you choose to waste your money and your time, so be it. But I guarantee you that the information that he gives you is going to be so deposited into your spirit to where you will know that it's just that you're not doing what you're supposed to do, but he is giving you everything. This is a man who has turned a $250 startup into a multi-million-dollar company in less than 10 years. Come on, people. Tell them about some of the things you've gone through, because you mentioned how you've had more failures than successes. So tell them about one of your hardships and how you overcame it, or an embarrassing moment, something to help them see how, no, life has not been a crystal stair.
One of my, I would say, biggest failures is when I first started in business. Right out of the military, I started a maintenance company. I had over 70-something employees, and I didn't know what accounts receivables were, and I didn't have any money to pay everyone, and because I was spending all the money for the paint and the materials and everything and the equipment. And so the people didn't pay me. The apartment places didn't pay me and things of that nature. They were supposed to pay me in that 30 days. And so I had to pray. And I read the LA Times, and I found a company that said, hey, we do factoring. I didn't even know what factoring was. And they said they buy accounts receivables. And so I called the guy and went down there to see him. And I told him, look, don't be stroking me now, because I don't even have the gas money to get there. And so I was brutally honest with him where I was. And I get there. I had over 300 and some change, 300,000 that is, and some change in accounts receivables. And accounts receivables is work that has been already done, signed off by management. And so they gave me $189,000 thereabout. And that was my first experience in education, and saying, wow, what you don't know can hurt you. It can destroy you. And then later, and I built that company up to a $6 million company very quickly. And then later, probably my biggest failure was a company called R&R Investments. And we sold insurance and investments and things of that nature, and I was about 25 years old. So a 25-year-old black guy going telling you about investment strategies and insurance. Well, that didn't go quite well. So that business was a failure. But what I learned was I would travel two hours away just to make a $300-400 commission. So I learned a great deal about marketing and advertising and how to get customers. I didn't have a shortage of customers. And when I say the business was a failure, some people would say it was a success, but I lost money, although I was making probably about $5,000 or $6,000 a month as a 25-year-old. Okay, but I lost more money than I put into the business than what I was actually making. So it was a failure. But I learned so much. I learned more from my failures and my mistakes than I did from my success. When I got to be successful, what I was doing was applying the things that I had learned, which helped me to stay successful. So one of the things is I don't pay people money up front anymore. Because everybody I've ever paid money up front, guess what? They got paid, but I never got
and did not do what you
did. Right, exactly. Amen.
And see, and I've learned the opposite. I'm one of those who I'm like, no, I can never trust anyone to pay me later, because everyone who I allow to pay me later have never paid me. Even people that's like, I'm going to look out for you when I get out, have never looked out. So it's like, no, so yeah. So it shows you how, you have to learn from your lessons. And so, my business, ever since I flipped mine around, I've never gotten, as I called it, pissed and shitted on again. And, of course, and I'm sure that since you flipped yours around, you've never gotten it either. So, you have to learn from your lessons. Learn from your lessons and switch things up.
And exactly what you're talking about there, too, is like I've experienced that as well and had to place systems to deal with that so that,
I remember even at one point I was thinking about suing, and it's like, just forget it, because you're having to pay $400 just to file lawsuits against these people. It's like, girl, no, you're wasting more time and money. It's like, just let it go and just chalk it up as more education that you've paid for, and of course you always appreciate the education that you pay for.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a firm believer in contracts. How you go in is how you come out. And
exactly.
So you have to think about how your business is ran and how you want to run your business. And when you go into a contract with someone, I don't care who it is, whether it's a customer or vendor, you need to have your Bible being your operating procedures of how your business is ran. And you don't enter into contracts that go contrary to your Bible. And that's your business Bible, okay? And, a lot of people say, well, this is our standard contract, we use it. I say, great, I understand, I appreciate that. However, my team and I, we have to take a look at it, and then we begin to make those changes to make sure that contract will line up with what we do and how we do it.
Yes, indeed. And now, what would you, for those people that are like, I would love to be able to help and to do the same things that he's doing. I have this business experience. I now have this extra time on my hands. I've retired here recently, and I would love to be able to give back and help entrepreneurs. But everybody I know who say that they want to do a business, they really aren't willing to put forth the time and the money that it takes. They just think that because God gave them this idea and they tell it to me that, I can just make it pop out of the thin air without them doing anything. What would you say to inspire that person to still, that if it's in their heart to help other people, to still position themselves to be able to help those, so that for those people who are willing to put in what they need to, that they will be there for those people?
Well, let me start a little bit in reverse, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You can't help those people who think it's going to happen by osmosis. Okay.
Oh, you're so right. You know what? You're so right.
So that being said, it takes a lot of work to run a business, and it's a lot of dedication, and it's a lot of heartbreak, but the rewards are worth it. And anyone looking to help and consult, one of the things I did after losing everything, in 2007, I lost over $100 million in assets and money, okay? And when I did, I was living in a house in Fayetteville, Georgia, 18,000 square feet, couldn't pay the utility bills or anything of that nature.
All right.
Totally embarrassed and everything like that. My mother called. My wife at the time, she had to go find a job, and it took her like 6 months to find a job. And she was a graduate from Tuskegee University with a master's degree, and here you have this black man with no education, have education as far as high school, and self-learn.
Okay.
Well, I couldn't go out and get the same job that she could to make a decent living. So I tried to sell cars and do a little thing, and, I didn't feel good about that. And so I said, you know what, a friend of mine, she kept calling me. He was like, look, you know what, I know you're going through a tough time right now, but would you help this guy raise some money? Dr. Richard Craven needs your help. Would you help him? And for about, I don't know how many months it was, he called me literally every other day. First, he started out calling me every week, and then it was every other day for months. And then I finally said I would help. And what I told him was this. I said, look, I will tell you exactly what to do, and you will have to do exactly what I tell you to do, and you have to do all the paperwork and everything of that nature, and it's got to be right. And here's how you're going to pay me. At the end of the year, if everything I told you was successful and your company grows, I get a percentage of your company, 1. 2, you owe me $250,000, okay, that if I choose at my election to convert that to more equity in your company, that I will have the right to do that. So anyone looking to be a consultant, I want you to understand, I put my talent and my gifts to work. I believe in me. I believe in what I could do, and I knew that I could do it. And if you are truly of value to anyone, they can't afford to lose you or to let you get away.
Yes.
Dream. And when you bring the money and things of that nature, they spend your money, or if you provide services,
and time.
They use your services and everything and all your time up, right? And then they feel like they're doing you a favor. And you're like, wait a minute, what planet are you from?
Right. It's like, I'm helping you. God gonna bless me regardless, and I'm going to still help somebody else whether or not I deal with you or not.
you come across those people, and that's why a contract that's laid out and very thoughtful right up front is so critical.
Yes. Yes, because without a contract that has a mutual understanding, people, and make sure that your contracts are very clear. You cannot have any ambiguous language in this document. And like he even had mentioned, when you meet with a client and they need some things addressed that or require some things, some tweaking, be willing to sit down with them and work those things out so that way everyone has right there a clear understanding of what to expect from both sides going forward.
Absolutely. Amen.
And now, and I have to ask you, I cannot let you, because I know your time is tight, and this is my next to the last question, And now, I cannot let you get off this phone without knowing how powerful and strong you are as an individual, and knowing that with that, when you marry that with the fact that you are a black man, not just a male, but a man. I definitely have to get you to respond to those who are listening that haven't had an opportunity, because people like me, my father, I just saw him, my brother, my uncles, but not everybody is blessed to have black men
in their lives and to be able to dialogue and hear from them. And there are a lot of people whose hearts are hurting right now for Black men. A lot of people who are concerned and are wondering, what are Black men thinking and feeling? How are they handling this thing? Do they really know we're behind them? Do they know we're supporting them? Will you share with them some of the things that you are hearing from your circle and from men outside your circle, as well as let them know how you feel about today's situation and whether there is hope,
It's an emotional drain. George Floyd, I believe, created through God a awakening in everyone's conscious, and it just didn't affect the United States. It actually went global, where everyone just kind of woke up. And so in Black business today, in our society, first I want everyone to understand, we are the largest consumers.
Yes.
Okay? And we have less than 13% of the wealth in the United States, yet we are the largest consumers, which means we had a $27 trillion GDP. That $27 trillion GDP, we basically help make up, contribute to that. I think it's 5 to 7%. So that's a lot. So if you take that away, here's what I'm going to say. Rosa Parks gave us, and we got to go back in history. She gave us a blueprint. Okay, we need to go back and stop patronizing. If you don't care about me and people who look like me, then I can't afford to patronize you to allow you to prosper on my dollar.
Yes.
And when we do that, that will stop the killing.
I agree. And I think it should be more than one day or 1 week. I think we should, take a page from history and do it for at least a year and keep going until we get legislation, and see implementation, and then that's when we will slowly begin back the association.
The other part of the question that you asked, I would cry to my brothers and plead with them. Please, show up. Don't just sit back and talk about it. Be about it. Don't let the sisters continue to go out there, whether they're your mother, your sisters, your aunties, your wives, your daughters. Go out there and be on the forefront. You're supposed to lead.
Yes.
Okay? Get out there, lead. When I'm looking at the demonstrations and things of that nature and what's going on, I'm seeing more women than I'm seeing men.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be leading. We're supposed to be protecting our women folk, okay? And so you can't let someone else fight your battles. You got to fight your battles. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you may win that battle, but you got to show up for the fight.
Yes. Yes.
And I just urge my brothers to do that. Show up. Don't let the women carry the load. We need to carry the load. We need to be up front. And, let's stop, look, when I saw what happened to George Floyd, I was very troubled. I was very angry.
And especially for that, right after we are still waiting for them to do something about Miss Breonna Taylor, peace be unto her soul, and then here they come with this and hadn't even, but it's like, and even with that, because of the focus, now they're finally trying to do right with Miss Breonna's case. But yeah, this has definitely proven to have sparked a lot of the kind of help and galvanizing more action within the community that is needed.
Oh, absolutely. And see, one of the things is, if that would have been us, in any one of these situations would have been reversed, it would have been handled totally different. I would sit back and say the peace officers that stood around trying to do riot control or crowd control while the other peace officers killing a man, that's murder. And you were accessory to murder.
Yes.
Right. We would have been accused of that. If
Right, and I'm with you. Even the people videotaping, not getting involved, and I understand that, people are like, oh, not fear for my life, but as I even explained to some on a post I had put up, that I'm a person who, as a lone black woman, have literally followed a police for half of a block because I saw him harassing a black boy, and so I made it a point to get involved. And by the time the cop did pull over and got out and was trying to get the boy on the car, I'm by now up there, and he had to let the boy go. And it was all because he was like, well, you don't know him. He just got out of jail. I said, so? But you just saw him walking down the sidewalk. This boy just passed me on the sidewalk. So, what has he done that's a crime that requires him to suddenly get patted down on the hood of this car here on Commercial Avenue? No, unacceptable. And to me, if I can do it as an individual, surely people who are standing, and it's more than one around, you can do more than just say, why you want him like that, let him go, and you're there all that time. Somebody should have walked up, because if someone would have walked up, those others would have had to get off him, and he would have had to too, because they would have had to stop those people. So it's like, no, but to each their own.
Well, we lived in the past of, I'm glad when we drive by and see someone getting a ticket that it wasn't me, that he didn't catch me or this or that.
Mm-hmm.
But
better him than
we
me.
don't know, and what we need to stop doing is stop doing that and get involved.
Yes.
Because they're killing us, and they're killing us unjust. And it's the system has a rule for them and rules for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to begin taking the conscious level that we currently have in America and across the world right now today, and take advantage of that and begin to solve some of these injustices. And right now is the time. If your businesses won't support, then you stop supporting them. If your political people that you placed in office, then you stop supporting them and you start getting them out of office. We need to, start putting people in office who support our agenda. No more that you can give me lip service, or just because, you happen to be a Democrat and my grandmother was a Democrat and my mother was a Democrat and No.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing for us?
Yes.
And let me see your record. Let's open up the books. And if I don't see it and it's not balancing out, it's not that you can do everything, but there need to be some things that are getting done. And I can't vote that way anymore. I got to vote for, I don't care if they're independent, Republican, I don't care who they are.
Right.
I got to vote for those who will help champion our cause, who will help to stop us being murdered and killed, who will help to get us the money and access to capital. Because that's the real root of the problem, is us not having access to capital to be able to have businesses and employ each other. Because
being intersexually disadvantaged. It's cross sections. It's intersectionally disadvantaged. It's really what it is. It's not just racism. It's not just economically.
Yeah, no, it's not racism at all. That just happens to be the whole substance of what we're seeing. Yeah. But what it really is, hey, they're afraid that, if I let this person get a job, they're taking or get a loan, they're taking business from me. And my family won't be able to eat because they're believing there's only so much of a pie. Well, how about this? God created enough for everybody.
Right. And America is supposedly a free enterprise capitalist system, So it's like, why would you not welcome competition if you really believe you're offering the best?
Exactly. And, but it's a shame when a black man can go in with a same credit score or a higher credit score and get denied a business loan, or go apply to put in for a contract, can't get the contract. Other white companies get it with less experience. and get the loans and things of that nature, something's got to stop. Something's got to give.
Yeah.
You spoke about the intellectual property we have. That's the smart technology, the Ring doorbell. We license that technology to everybody. We don't to mostly everybody, but we have to fight for that.
Right.
And most of white America, corporate white America, most of the companies in the security business and things of that nature, manufacturer, they didn't want a license from us.
Mm-hmm.
But we own the intellectual property. According to the U.S. government, it's ours. And you should be licensing it from us. And they will try to run us in the ground and run us out of business. And we spend millions of dollars. And, it's funny. When I remember us spending our last $10,000 to $15,000, they said, "Are you sure?" I said, "I'd rather eat beans and go broke than not to fight for what is right."
Right.
And so we're going to court. And we have been in court, and everyone says it's going to take 5 or 6 years for you to win. We won the first 3. CPI, Alarm, Force, and Protect, I think, America, in like 8 months, 9 months. And then it took us a year, and then all of a sudden Ring, they licensed from us. And then after they licensed from us, another company called Skybell, they needed to get a loan. And so the bank told them, "Look, unless you have a license from these people, we can't loan you the money." See, more banks need to do things like that because the bank was like, "Look, you can't just steal their stuff and use it because if they come back and sue you and win, which they probably will since their track record, I mean, every time we go to court, we win."
Right.
And so it was like, wow. But if the bank hadn't said it, they weren't willing to license from us.
And
but
people, I hope that you're taking these lessons, and you're learning these lessons now. Don't get lost. And again, you're listening to Mr. Solomon Ali, and you need to head on over right now, if you haven't already, to his website, Solomon RC, like Richard Carter, Ali.info. That's Solomon, SOLOMON RC, Ali, ALI.info, INFO. And now, Mr. Ali, this is my last question to you. What is there that you would like to say that you've not had a chance yet to share with the listeners of Articulation Radio?
I don't know. That's too broad of a question. Let's narrow that down.
Well, you would know what's on your heart that you want to say you haven't said, so that's a good thing. That lets me know that, we've covered a lot. But do know, though, that there is a wealth of info that I'm sure that people will want to know from you. And anytime you want to come back to Articulation Radio, we welcome you back here at any time. Because, yes, sir, and I thank you for entertaining all the questions that we've had. Some people get a little tuckered, but I am so thankful that, no, you hung in there. And, yes, sir, I am faithful that everything that you're doing, not only for yourself, but all of the other people that you're helping, will continue to prosper. But definitely do not forget about us, okay? You got to come back to Articulation.
Oh, I would love to. And to answer your question, I think if everyone just helped each other, patronize businesses that look like you, help them to survive, because it's hard. Business, we all tend to look at the end result or what somebody might be driving or how they may dress. Don't look at that, because everyone is struggling, and it's going to get worse in the days and the years to come just because of what's actually going on in our world today. So help the businesses that look like you. And to you young people who are coming out of school, partner with each other and look for a business to go purchase while you're working for someone else. Buying a business grows you equity a lot faster than buying a piece of property. In fact, buying a business will help you to purchase that property because it helps generate cash flow and things of that nature, but it grows a lot faster in its value. So that's what I would say to people. And if you don't have to start a business, create an investment club or something of that nature with people that you know and trust, and go buy a small little business. Go buy a small little business. And that's the way to begin economic empowerment for our people. And then let's patronize our businesses and be understanding and show some grace for them that, hey, everything might not be all the way it's supposed to or way you're accustomed to when you go to a white store or something. So be patient as they develop it and as they grow it, because they'll get it there if you give them a chance. But we got to be the ones to give each other a chance first.
Yes. Yes, I so agree. People, head on over right now to SolomonRCAli.info. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show for you. We love you guys.
Want to buy stocks, jewels, real estate, or other high-end items? Would you love to be able to contribute to charitable initiatives but cannot do these things with the money you currently have? Join Regal City Investment and Social Club, where you can pool money each month with other investors to make major purchases, give to the needy, and possibly turn a profit. www.regalcity.xyz. Become a Regal citizen today by joining Regal City Investment and Social Club. regalcity.xyz.
Articulation Radio, thanks you so much for listening. So head on over right now to articulationmedia.club and let us know your thoughts on today's episode. In the meantime, we're going to keep the show rolling for you.
Do you frequently shop online and you're looking for a new place to shop? Visit Jefferson Taylor. Join the club, jeffersontaylor.club, where models, designers, inventors, and other creators offer customers their best products at fair prices. Jefferson Taylor, jeffersontaylor.club. Join the club. Shop today, jeffersontaylor.club.
Why does it have to be? All good things must come to an end, and this is the end of this great episode of Articulation Radio, hosted by yours truly, Goddess Sage. I encourage you to not be a forgetful listener, to apply the wisdom that you've received today and take action and assist the cause that you heard about on today's episode, as well as be sure that you take action in your own life on fulfilling not only your own dreams, but also helping improve the lives of the people that you know. And as we always say here when we close out the day's episode, the staff here at Articulation Radio loves you. We thank you. We look forward to seeing you, talking to you, playing your music on an upcoming episode, as well as running your ad for your business or product on an upcoming episode of Articulation Radio. So be sure to head on over to articulationmedia.club right now. Re-listen to this episode, as well as listen to past episodes, and make sure that your ad is played and your songs are spun. In the meantime, you keep being a doer, keep being a move maker, and keep making things pop, baby.